Prosecutors presented evidence this week in a 5-day preliminary hearing against Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. The prosecutors showed footage of Robinson climbing down from the roof where he allegedly shot Kirk, along with engraved bullets recovered from the scene, and a photo of the rifle wrapped in a towel which contained DNA evidence. Listen.
Item 7, towel from around Mauser rifle, serial number 8863.
Is that the towel that you found with the rifle that day?
Yes, it is. The DNA results from item 7 sub 1 and are 1.7 octillion times more likely if Twiggs and T. Robinson are contributors than if Twiggs and an unknown, unrelated person are contributors.
They also aired footage of the interview with Robinson's former roommate and lover. Listen to this.
Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family, and he asked me for if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets.
So are we talking like a year before?
Oh no, not that long. It would have been, I'd say at most a month before this was when he was asking.
That is Lance Twiggs. He testified that Robinson confessed to the crime.
I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it, and then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
So now the judge in this case will determine whether Robinson will stand trial after oral arguments conclude on September 1st. Joining us now is criminal defense attorney, Fox News contributor, and co-host of The Murder of Charlie Kirk on Fox Nation, Josh Ritter. Josh, look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a guy who watched L.A. Law way back in the day, or A Few Good Men, one of my favorite movies of all time. All of that said, this seems so open and shut to the average person as far as this trial, whether Tyler Robinson is guilty or not. We hear from some right-wing conspiracy theorists that say, well, no, there's more to this story. There doesn't appear to be any more to this story. This is as open and shut as anything we've seen since O.J. back in 1995. Your thoughts?
I agree. I think it was overwhelming. The prosecution described it as devastating, the amount of evidence that they have, and I would agree with that as well. We knew that there was a significant amount of evidence going into this preliminary hearing, but once we saw the amount of evidence that they had, I don't know what arguments the defense could possibly be left with. And it runs the gamut of the different types of evidence. You're talking about surveillance video, DNA, ballistics, and even down to confessions. And if you're keeping score at home, he has now confessed to this 4 different times in 4 different ways, both through the text messages, through the Discord chat, through a letter that he left behind, handwritten letter, and in person to his roommate and lover, Lance Twiggs. That is a person who is not shy about their involvement in this murder. This is the type of case that if it landed on my desk when I was a prosecutor, I would be very happy to take it to trial.
Tommy?
Yeah, this is very interesting, Josh, obviously gripping the nation, of all those who cared about Charlie Kirk personally and those that, obviously were inspired by him in so many ways. Question for you just on the timeline here, and to Joe's earlier point about it feels very open and shut, but it also feels like it's dragging on for a very, very long time. I mean, just this pretrial has been 5 days long, and it feels like until we actually get to a trial, or if there's a plea, it feels like a very elongated timeline. Can you speak to that, or why that might be? Is this unique to Utah, or why is it taking us so long to get to the big moments here?
It is unique, and it's not particular to Utah. This isn't some sort of thing about their justice system that just goes especially slow. It's this case in particular. While we were, just last week, while we were in Provo, it reached the 300-day mark since Charlie's murder. By the time the judge rules on this in early September, we will be closing on 1 year since his murder. So this is incredibly long period of time. Why is that? Well, I think some of that has to do with the judge. He just is allowing for full-throated arguments from the defense and the prosecution. The defense is especially litigious. They keep on filing briefs every step of the way. But I think ultimately it's because it's a death penalty case. Everyone wants to make sure that they're getting this right, the judge in particular, and that just seems to be adding to the time that's being consumed by this case.
Yeah, Josh, thanks for joining. Very excited to chat with you, and thanks for what you're doing. Charlie was a dear friend of mine. He was a mentor to me. It's been hard to watch everything unfold, but I do think there's a level of closure there. Lance Twiggs previously testified that Tyler Robinson told him he wished he hadn't have done it. When you're in the courtroom, do you sense any sort of remorse from Robinson in either his body language, his facial expressions? Is there any remorse there?
No. Not at all. Nothing that I would describe as remorse. For the most part, he seems unplugged. At points he's engaged. At times he seems to be taking notes. The only time that he seemed to really react in any kind of emotional way to the testimony was when it became a discussion about the inscriptions that he made on the bullets and the discussion about how the rifle was owned by his grandfather. So make of that what you will. I thought personally that it could have just been him realizing that the walls are closing in. I don't know what kind of convincing he's been receiving from his attorneys as to what they might feel is the strength of his case, but if you sat and watched that prelim, by the end of it, you have to be convinced that he was the person responsible for this murder.
Josh Ritter, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks,
we really
Josh.
appreciate your input.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.